everyone, and welcome back to what we now call this podcast, the Global Diamond Broker Podcast.
Backstage.
I'm your host, Judy Lee, and this is my co-host, Colin Ferguson.
Don't look down on me like that. I am the talent.
You are the talent.
That hasn't changed yet.
We're on episode 18.
It's hard to believe we're 18 episodes in.
Yeah, and Colin's TikTok famous.
Yeah, I guess that's how it happened overnight, that I became TikTok famous.
He says it took him 40 years to become an overnight sensation. And we should start by telling them the story of you being in the jacuzzi.
I don't think we should be talking. Really? You think they're interested in me in a jacuzzi?
No, tell them the Qantas pilot story.
Judy is a little confused most of the time, particularly when we go to tape the podcast, okay? Like, it becomes more confusing. Try working with her.
Into the mic, please.
Try working with her.
Oh, you'd love it.
Scolds me constantly. You never know what's going to happen.
I would scold you if he didn't give me reasons to scold you.
Oh, my Lord. Anyway, what she's talking about is the fact that we started, first of all, we don't advertise. We don't have a budget for it.
Yeah.
We do
everything in-house. I put in all the work.
Nothing scripted. It's true you do. You're amazing. I'll give you that. But we decided we would give TikTok a try, and I guess I've gone viral now 3 or 4 times. So I'm TikTok famous. The jacuzzi story is this. The other night I'm sitting in a jacuzzi. I exercise a lot, and there's a steam room and a place to go jacuzzi. And there's this lovely couple from Australia in there. And we start chatting, and the guy keeps looking at me really strangely. And then all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, are you that diamond guy on TikTok?" And these people are from Sydney, Australia.
Of all places.
Visiting, right?
It's kind of funny because you've done a lot of work in Australia.
I've done a lot of work in Australia. And so that's what she's referring to. But yeah, episode 18, and the new name is because what we found is what was important to our clients was more than just tales of trade, trust, and betrayal, but was what's going on in the diamond industry today. And I think we need to talk about that because the changes in the diamond industry today are the most profound in its history, because whoever would have thought that what formed at the center of the earth 3 billion years ago and came up through volcanoes to the surface and, became the ultimate symbol of love globally, not just here in North America and not in Australia, but globally. Every country in the world trades in diamonds. Whoever would have thought that process could be done in laboratories. Are we keeping you from something, Judy?
Sorry.
Okay, you're not allowed to wear that thing anymore during the podcast, okay? She gets messages on her wrist. But whoever would have thought that...
they're creating these in laboratories.
In weeks. And nobody can tell the difference. So right off the bat, one of the things that we have to clear up, because really what's happening is technology and the evolution of the process for diamonds, I guess you might call it, has found a more ethical,
sustainable,
more economical, more sustainable, more environmentally friendly to produce a product, and there's no difference. So for any of you out there who think that we're talking about a diamond simulant, like
a moissanite.
Like moissanite, but moissanite's not even a...
CZ.
Yeah, a CZ, these things that are just cut.
We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about diamonds.
Carbon.
Yeah.
There's no difference between a lab-grown...
The best trained eyes in the world can't tell the difference. And so this is the world we're living in today. And I think for diamond buyers, and I'll say this right off the bat too, if my 24-year-old professional hockey playing son came to me today and said, "Dad, I'm getting engaged," first of all, I'd try to talk him out of that like all his buddies would. Everybody does. Every time a guy goes to get engaged, it's like, why? Why are you getting engaged?
But if he did come to you and say, hey, Dad, I want to get engaged, what would you recommend?
I would recommend a lab-grown diamond. Technologically mined is what we refer to them as. They're not all equal. They're like mined diamonds. There's a lot of issues with them. But from an environmental and an ethical perspective, and not to mention the money, the cost, and the paradigm whenever I talk about people owning diamonds is about not buying them, but owning them and owning them forever together. And so this is a big issue. I know it's a big issue that's spoken about a lot. There's lots of articles. If you're interested, Google this issue.
Speaking of articles, there was one a few months ago, I want to say, from Forbes, where LVMH announced that labs are luxury.
And LVMH is the biggest luxury company in the world. And so I've made some bold predictions. I pick on Tiffany a lot.
Yeah.
But LVMH owns Mouton Cadet is one of the luxury brands that they own. They own the Louis Vuitton luxury brand. They own these companies. So now what they've done is they've come out and said that lab-grown diamonds, ethically, environmentally, are luxury. That's it. But guess who else they own?
Tiffany?
They own Tiffany. And if you listen to the podcast, I kind of pick on Tiffany a little bit. But I did make this prediction that Tiffany, and I've said it to many clients, are going into the lab-grown industry because they all are. They can't afford not to. Right now, De Beers Diamond Corporation, the legendary, iconic mining corporation, who, by the way, is the largest producer of lab-created diamonds in the world. You can Google all of this, and I challenge people when I talk about things to challenge me. GE, General Electric, and De Beers have been in bed together in the two mammoth companies, Goliaths, really. My middle name's David. There's a bit of a...
Okay.
Anyway. But giant companies have been into the lab-created diamond business for 50 years. They knew this was coming. In fact, De Beers right now is spending a minimum of 80 million... Did I say a minimum of? I sort of ran that...
Minimum of?
Okay. But a minimum of 80 million US dollars in the great state of Oregon to be able to tell American consumers that their diamonds are American made. It's a different world in the diamond industry. The mined diamond is, in my opinion, is a dodo bird. We're going to start to see the mines start to close.
It's kind of a dying culture now.
My inside trader, and I can't say who it is, I have many friends in De Beers. De Beers' expectations are that very soon, I've got to watch how I word things here, that 80% of the engagement rings very, very soon are going to be created in a laboratory. I mean, the pricing difference, the economics of it are so compelling, it's hard not to. But then when you understand that this is a diamond, this was the hardest part for me after 40 years in the industry. And the first one, if anybody would have ever said to me, Colin, you're going to sell lab-created diamonds 3 or 4 years ago, I would have said no way in the world. But we did, and I'll always know sort of ground zero for us who the client is. It's a very intelligent, very financially secure client who made the choice based on the information at the time. And it was funny, I had a chance to talk with them recently about their ring. And this is a ring I made over 3 years ago, which is a 3 carat, so it's out there. People are going to notice this diamond. And I said, because the paradigm isn't buying, the paradigm's owning, right? Like after you own your diamond, you're not going to think about the cut, the color. If you have the most beautiful diamond in the room, there's tremendous value in that, of course. But then what do people say? And in the 3.5 years she's had her ring, not one person has ever questioned whether it's a diamond, because it is. right? Stunning, absolutely beautiful stone, but it is a diamond, and it's a more ethical diamond, and it's more environmentally. And I don't want to go on about this too much. Obviously, I've become a big fan, but one of the things that drives me crazy is the spin that the industry tries to put on these things.
And what do you mean by that?
So yesterday, I'm a student of the industry, right? Like, I get up every morning at 6 in the morning and I read all the alerts. I have my coffee. I know what's going on at every level of the industry. I traveled the world globally to hands-on, from Delhi and in northern India, northern China, to India, to all these countries, and to Los Angeles, which is a big diamond center, to New York, because the biggest diamond consumer in the world, people may not know this right now, is the United States. In fact, if you took every country in the world that buys diamonds and put them all together, 51% still go to the States. They're still the biggest consumer against every other country.
Wow.
Okay? But yeah, they're the biggest consumer, and 8 billion. India cuts 9 out of 10 diamonds in the world. I'm running lots of statistics.
No,
today.
this is good though.
But this is a $30 billion industry. 8 billion are being cut and shipped to the United States.
Wow.
The next year, at least 2 out of 4 engagement rings, 50%. How did I come up with 2 out of 4? 3 out of 6, 4 out of 8.
Good maths. Well, what is the statistic now? Isn't it a quarter of, or 1 out of 4 engagement rings are
It's
lab
higher
grown?
than that now.
It's probably higher.
The industry's been trying to shroud it. It was funny because they were trying to justify in this podcast I listened to, this trade podcast I listened to yesterday, they were trying to justify a reason to have a mined diamond.
I'm curious as to what reasons they were giving.
Would you want to take a guess? Here's what it is, okay?
Yeah.
So the fact that De Beers, and I mean, I guess to a certain degree it's legitimate, but the fact that De Beers helps these small communities in these remote areas by making them filthy, rotten, stinking rich by going up and buying their land rights and then mining the diamonds. And we only need to look at northern Canada, but the mines are closing. The mines have matured. There's been no new mine opened since 1992.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I who would know it? This is why we're backstage. Who would ever? The industry doesn't want you to know. And the mines that are out there now are maturing, because I can tell you who does know what's going on is De Beers. They're in bed with the GIA. They're in bed with LVMH. Or they're constructing. They're the biggest producer of lab-grown diamonds in the world. And again, by far, it's like the United States, the diamonds that get sold and bought. So that's it. And so we don't, we get calls from all over the world.
Especially now lately with TikTok, our reach has been global.
So it's always kind of been
It's been global,
That's
but it's
the whole. I'm just kidding you. Don't look at me like that.
Okay, I'm just going to stop talking.
I'm going to be in trouble after
I'm going to
this.
stop talking. Why don't you carry on the show?
Is that a possibility that you're going to stop talking?
Is it a possibility for you? Because I don't think so. No, but I'm just saying with TikTok, we've been extremely busy.
Extremely busy
and
globally.
From all over the world, yeah.
We've diamonds to Indiana to Australia. And points in Australia, towns we've never even heard of. So we're very popular in Australia. We're very popular in the United States. There was another country that was, Morocco. I'm getting messages from Morocco and all over the world. And everybody, and I kid you not, have we had anybody ask about a mined diamond?
Well, we've had people inquire about mined diamonds and because of, the lack of knowledge that they have with lab grown. But as soon as we've educated our clients, it's like just like that. They're like, okay, lab grown.
And we don't have a bias. If you want
no, absolutely not.
There's stockpiles of them.
Right.
We negotiate now on behalf of anybody who's trying to buy them. The funny one is Kay's Jewelers, a giant chain in the United States who wrote an apology in the papers because mined diamonds
Were in their bags of lab grown.
of the earrings they were selling somehow. So even though you're told they cost 3 times as much or 4 times as much, which is smoke as well, they're embarrassed that these things somehow found their way into their supply chain because, in the great state of California, a diamond that came out of a mine, they're referring to them as the fur coats of the gem industry, which is kind of frightening. People who have mined diamonds are telling people
that they're lab.
grown.
Oh my gosh.
So this is what's going on in the industry today. The industry it's really brought the industry as I knew it to its knees. And I can assure you, for me to be sitting here and saying that I would recommend it to my family is a very serious thing for me, because I was like most of the people in the industry. I thought it was not a diamond. I thought it was something bad. And I was drinking the snake oil that the industry was selling at the time. So
I think it's important to stay educated, and that's what we're here to do, is educate.
Exactly.
And inform.
We just want to inform on the facts. If you want one, please get it from a mine, but understand you're going to pay up to 4 times as much for the exact same thing.
And it's interesting because when we go to work and search for these diamonds for our clients, there's so many mined diamonds out there.
So many.
Right?
So many, yeah.
And then we go and look for that same diamond that was, technologically mined, and it's few.
They're hard to get.
They're hard to get.
Especially the quality.
The quality that
stones.
we have, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's become, and then there's the other problem of identification. So if you have a mined diamond, how do you know it's mined anymore? The GIA, the Gemological Institute of America, who are the most advanced laboratories in the world. I've read a funny article this morning where the GIA got things wrong. I've talked before about the diamonds they had through recently, 70 of them, where they graded them all as mined or quote unquote natural, and they were all out of a laboratory. This is the most advanced laboratories in the world. An article I read this morning called the GIA stand was God in all is the way they...
God in all.
God in all is the way the GIA looks at themselves. Now, this is a corporation who is not infallible. In fact, I myself had sent several stones back where we disagreed on the grading. One of them I sent back 5 times until they ultimately agreed with me on what the stone was. And it was a chameleon diamond that changed color naturally. And because it didn't have green in it, and the GIA said it has to have green in it, which isn't true, they wouldn't grade it as chameleon. You could see it change color in front of your very eyes. Most remarkable diamond.
What the heck?
And so 5 times, and what they did was they brought in what we were told, they're advanced graders, and they heated the diamond up so much that they saw a fleck of green, and so they gave me the call.
God.
Right? Like,
That's too funny.
smoke. Just smoke. So anyway, that's what's going on in the diamond world today. This is the biggest thing going on in the diamond world today. We want... we're here as the global diamond broker to help you get the facts so you can make the right decision on a diamond. And this is what we do. If you go on our TikToks, it's the Global Diamond Broker. If you go on our Instagram,
It's all the same.
it's all the same. The message is the same. Our competence and credibility in the industry is unrivaled. This week on Instagram, I posted some really interesting things, like the $1 million invoices from the Argyle Pink Diamond Mine are up there now. And so this is our new format. Our new format is to help you buy diamonds. It's that simple. It's you want prices, you want quotes, we're here to do that. But you want the truth? That's kind of our calling, and that's what we're here to do, is to share with you the information. So, and again, please challenge me on anything you think that we say or Judy says that isn't accurate, because I can assure you we're accurate, right?
That's right.
I think that's it for this week.
I think that's
done
it.
I think I've done a heck of a job again, right? Like, I'm amazing, right?
You really are.
If it wasn't for Judy, we wouldn't do any of this. She needs lots of love these days because she's not feeling that well.
Okay.
But we produce all of this in-house ourselves. We have
Sorry, correction. I produce everything.
in-house herself, and she really does. She's amazing. And so, questions, please reach out.
Or leave a comment in the video down below. You know, if you have any questions.
On YouTube, are we on YouTube?
On YouTube,
We're on
yeah.
Spotify.
Well, you can't leave comments on Spotify, but you wouldn't know that. You can leave a comment or questions.
I wouldn't know that. I don't know anything. It's social media. That ship sailed on me.
Yeah, it's okay.
Is it?
That's what I'm here for.
And it is one of the things you're here for. You're a remarkable person.
Aw,
Grateful
Colin.
to have you. We have a lot of fun and we get a lot of good done.
Yes. Well, thanks so much for listening. And once again, we are the Global Diamond Broker podcast.
I am podcast.
Let me talk. All right. Bye, everyone.
God bless.